The following is a Spirit Street production.
All right, so Big 12 is going to be a very, very exciting football conference. It's always been a pretty exciting football conference, but I think with the additions coming in, not only this season, but also last season, I just think the excitement level is going to go up even more. Today, we are going to talk about the top 12 playmakers within the Big 12 conference. This is Big B's list. This is the Big 12 Insiders.
Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show, presented by Synergy Financial Partners. Now let's go to booming North Texas, home of Studio 73. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Big 12 Insiders. This is your man, Big B, Brien Hanley, along with Tim Fitzgerald. Fitz, how is it going today, my man?
Good. This is quite a list. I'm glad I made you do it, not me.
Yeah, summertime, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Camp is right around the corner, just weeks away from fall camp. We got media days over with. I think everybody's looking forward to some football. Everybody's looking forward to some football. So today we're going to take a look at who I believe were the top 12 playmakers within the conference. Again, feel free to comment. Tell me where you agree, disagree, all that good stuff. Like I mentioned, I love going back and forth with you guys, and I appreciate all the support. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when all Big 12 Insider videos are coming out. But now that we got that out of the way, Fitz, let's just dive into this thing.
Yes, sir.
First up at number 12, I have got Avery Johnson from Kansas State. Now, some people are going to maybe think it's a little controversial. He hasn't played a whole lot. What we did see, to me, was spectacular. And with the role that he's going to have this year, I don't think – look, you could even make a case that maybe you put him higher, but I didn't think so. I think 12 is a good spot because, again, you haven't seen him play a whole lot.
Yep.
But just for the role that he's going to play, the type of offense that Kansas State runs, I believe Avery Johnson is definitely one of the top 12 playmakers within this conference, Fitz.
I agree. I wondered what you were going to do with Avery because, we're privy to knowing his level of potential. We've seen some of it, but he belongs on the list, but not too high. So I respect your decision here. I'm, again, glad I didn't have to make it. But I think when we do this by season's end, if he's healthy and gets through the year, this list is going to look much different, and he certainly won't be number 12.
Well, and that's the thing, this is where we're at today.
Right.
I mean, obviously, as we go through the season, heck, we might even have one mid-season that we put together based on what's going on. But I suspect this list by the end of the season will look totally different just because of football. Everything that goes along with football, things will look different. But as today sits, we got Avery Johnson at number 12. At number 11, another guy that's on the list that we haven't seen play football in a while is Cam Rising. Again, a healthy season last year. First of all, a healthy season. He's not even back playing college football. That's number one. But having him on this list, I think he's deserving. What he's been able to accomplish when he has been playing, I think to leave him off would have been criminal. I know he didn't play last year, and I get that part. But for what he does for not just the Utah offense, but the Utah team as a whole, his leadership that he brings, clearly a top 12 playmaker within this conference. I got him at number 11.
Yeah, he's a distributor, and he makes those other talents around him. He magnifies their talent. He really gets them to the next level because he's a great leader, and you can tell that his teammates react to having him out there. Again, when playmakers is kind of vague, it could mean explosive, exciting, or could mean guys that just go out there and make plays to help their team win. And that's where we're going with this, basically. What they can be, what they are. And Cam Rising's a really damn good quarterback who makes a lot of winning plays.
Absolutely. And like I said, I know he was out last year, but he seems to be fully healthy. He looked fully healthy at media days for as much as you can look healthy walking around, but seemed to be ready to play some football. He sure sounded like he was ready to play some football. So,
I challenged him to a 100-yard dash, and he said no. So I think he was scared of me. Well, I didn't say it out loud. So
No, absolutely. I get
yeah.
it. I get it. At number 10, it was going back to Cam Rising. He does have the best. I don't know. It's between him and Avery on who has the best set of hair. Absolutely, who has the best set of hair. I'll tell you what, Cam Rising, boy, that hair, it was just flowing.
He's
It
got
was
the look, man.
absolutely flowing.
I love it.
Number 10, I think this guy is not possibly, he is one of the most underrated football players in the country, and that is DJ Giddens, the running back at Kansas State.
Yep.
Last year, he was challenged in the offseason. Trayshawn Ward transferred in, thought it was going to be a battle. I had talked to some people on the inside. They were like, nah, it's not really going to be a battle. Trayshawn's going to help us, but DJ's the guy. As the season got underway, it was quite evident that DJ was the guy. It's not that Trayshawn didn't help, because he absolutely helped K-State, but DJ Giddens was clearly the better running back. The numbers show it's not just in the running game. He can also do it in the passing game. He can block. He can catch. Doesn't have as big a numbers as other guys because, again, he shared some time. But at the same time, he's one of the more underrated players in the country. And I got DJ Giddens at number 10.
DJ just kind of feels space. He gets into the middle of the defense, and you'll just see him decisively pick where to go and quite often bounce it outside, and to great effect. He's really good at it. But I think what a lot of people underappreciate is he's turned into a whale of a receiver.
Yes.
So he makes that backfield even more dangerous. He had Dylan Edwards into the group, another guy that might end up on a Playmakers list at some point. And, you know, both of those guys can then split out and be receivers and completely change the formation from a 2-back set to an empty backfield. So it's going to be fun to watch how K-State uses him, because he's quite flexible. I often call him the big bruiser, but he's not just that. He's a big kid that can run over people, but he really does have good enough speed to get to the edge and beat people to the end zone. It's fun to watch him.
Well, the one thing about DJ, just watching him from his freshman year to his second year playing,
Incredible.
Absolutely incredible leap. He, as a freshman, he ran hard, but he ran extremely high, didn't have moves. It was just, okay, I'm going to run. And people used to just blow him up when they tackled him.
Mm-hmm.
The next year, the guy spinning off of tackles, eluding people, just became super elusive. Not only just in the hole, when he got past people, the first guy never seemed to bring him down. He's just a great, great football player. And again, I think one of the more underrated football players in the country is DJ Giddens.
I would agree.
Number 9, again, maybe if we see a healthier season, or we had seen a healthier season, again, if we did, he may not even be back. But this is Jalen Daniels, quarterback at Kansas. Played 3 games last year, good numbers. Year before, played good numbers. But the injury bug has bitten him so many times.
Yeah.
I want to put him higher, but it's still football, Fitz. It's still football. And so I just believe other guys that have shown that they are able to stay healthy. And again, we're not blaming anybody for getting hurt. You don't blame people for that. But at the same time, you do have to reward people that are able to stay healthy.
Right.
So while Jalen Daniels, to me, is probably a top 3 playmaker in this conference, because of the injury bug, I've got him down here at 9.
I agree with you 100%. This guy is as fun to watch as any quarterback in the country. And he can just kill you with his legs or his arm. He's elusive, so he can extend plays. But like any other player in the game of football, when you've had a couple years with injuries, or, you know, some injury bugs have bitten you, well, people are going to talk about your injuries. That's just a reality of football. It's not picking on this kid. He's got to stay healthy for KU to function at its highest level. And if he does, KU might be in Arlington, and he might be atop this list in the postseason.
Absolutely. Just like I mentioned, if he's healthy, Fitz, I think he's a top 3 talent in this league, top 3 playmaker in this league. Again, you got to reward guys that were able to stay healthy. We don't blame anybody. People that blame people for being hurt, I think that's nuts. I go, it's football. It happens, unfortunately. But it is a reality. Having said that, you got to reward people that are available. Let's hope for a healthy season from Jalen Daniels this year, but we got him in at number 9. Last one before the break here, RJ Harvey, running back from UCF. Another guy that kind of goes under the radar a little bit because UCF wasn't spectacular last year. But you look at the numbers, 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's pretty good, Fitz. It's pretty good.
It is. It sure is. As we look at these first 6 picks, it's going to be a good list when those 6 dudes or 5 dudes are the bottom 5.
Yes.
I mean, you know how good this conference is when it comes to playmakers and exciting people, because every one of those dudes is a great player.
Yep.
But there are some that sit a little higher at this point.
Correct. Yeah, I really like RJ Harvey. Look, it's really going to depend, and it may end up UCF has a 2-person tandem at the running back position this year. I don't know. I really like RJ Harvey. I think that guy can be an absolute workhorse. I know they're bringing in a new quarterback, but I think they lean on that running game. They lean on this guy because he is a really good football player. Again, kind of in the DJ Giddens mode, just underrated, but still a solid football player. So we're going to take our first break here, people. We will be right back. We'll unveil the next 5 top playmakers in the Big 12 conference as we're counting down from 12 to 1. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor, Synergy Financial Partners.
We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
At Synergy Financial Partners, the mission is to change the way Americans plan for their financial future. Synergy doesn't just offer you a financial plan. At Synergy, the goal is to help you find your best financial future. Learn more at synergyfinancial.com.
Welcome back to the show. Let's return to Studio 73.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Big 12 Insiders. Again, this is Big B, Brien Hanley, along with Tim Fitzgerald. So we're counting down the top 12 playmakers in the Big 12 conference this year. We're going from 12 to 1. We left off at number 8. Now, number 7, Fitz. Again, another guy that you would think, man, he's at 7? Well, that's how many playmakers are in this conference. Devin Neal, running back at Kansas. Had an opportunity to meet him at Big 12 Media Days. He looks like an NFL running back. Now, I'm not saying the other guys don't. That's not what I'm saying. But I didn't have the opportunity to stand right next to him, shake their hand like I did Devin Neal. This guy's an NFL running back, Fitz. And for him to be this low on the list at number 7, that just speaks to the volume, kind of what you were talking about earlier, how good the playmakers really are in this conference. Because Devin Neal's a football player.
Oh, he's incredible. And he is an NFL guy. I mean, he's truly fits what the NFL wants in a running back. Enough size, enough speed, enough, make a miss and just run straight through you. He's really damn good. And I agree with you. I looked at your list and I go, he's only 7. And then I looked at the top 6 and I went, I can't make an argument to move him up. Maybe he should be moved up, but I don't have a compelling argument against any of the guys above him.
Yeah. Again, the list became difficult. I take that back. It wasn't difficult to put together. It was difficult with the rankings.
Right.
I think the guys that we have on this list, I think all of them belong on this list. It was just a matter of where you put them and why. And that's why I'm trying to explain the reasoning why guys, I have them where they are. Again, Devin Neal, outstanding football player. Number 6, another outstanding football player in Taj Brooks, running back out of Texas Tech. Again, another guy that goes under the radar, but 1,500 yards last year, Fitz, on a team that went through, 3 different quarterbacks, ended up with the freshman and playing quarterback. I mean, it was insane what happened at Texas Tech. Again, beginning of the year, we've talked about it several times, inconsistent. This guy wasn't inconsistent. He was very, very good all season.
It's crazy. This list is crazy because Taj Brooks, he might be the best running back in the country. His coach thinks so. There's someone else in this conference that has a compelling argument against that, as we'll get to. But just think about it. We've got Devin Neal as the 3rd running back in this list. That's crazy because Devin Neal is an absolute star. But Taj Brooks, I would take him on my team any day of the week. And if Tech can stay healthy and consistent, it'll help Taj Brooks because everyone can't zero in on him as the biggest threat.
Absolutely. Yeah. If they get solid quarterback play, I believe Tech's going to be better. I
Yeah.
just do. And you can say that about a lot of teams. I mean, that's the key to football. You have a solid quarterback, but in their case, it's really the case because I think even though they slipped up early, I think they recovered, and I think they were going to be on their way to having a good conference season. And then the quarterback play, the injuries, it just got in the way of that. But Taj Brooks was solid all season long. The guy was an absolute man out there playing football. So at number 5, now I'm probably going to butcher his first name, so please don't take it personal. I apologize, but I believe it's Tetaroa. And if that's wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. I'm fine with that, and I apologize. But T-Mac is what they call him, Tetaroa McMillan.
I'm going with T-Mac.
That guy is, I don't know. A lot of receivers get a lot more pub based on what this guy was doing. He was the major threat for Arizona at the wide receiver position last year, and you couldn't cover him. Just could not cover the guy. 90 catches. I mean, come on now. I mean, and don't get me wrong. College football's turned into a lot of passing. I get that part. But for what he was able to do, this guy's unbelievable. And he's at 5, Fitz. He is at 5. That's crazy to me.
I'm going to give him this. The new schools coming in brought some dudes.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. I really look forward to seeing him playing in the Big 12.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's really good. I think he's one of the top receivers in the country. He was a second, depending on what, publication or whatever you're talking about, second or third team All-American last year. I expect him to have just as good a numbers coming into the Big 12. We'll see. This guy's a football player, though. He's a football player. Tall, runs good routes, great hands, really, really good football football player, and he comes in at number 5. At number 4, we've got his quarterback, Noah Fafita. Again, you're thinking, man, he's at 4? He's at 4. But this guy is unbelievable, Fitz. I've seen some highlights. It was just, okay, you know what? I've seen him. I've watched him. I've studied him. But let me go back and look at some of the things. I think the thing about Fafita, to me, that makes him so good is his toughness. He took some shots on some balls that he was completing that were absolutely unbelievable. I think that's what kind of separates him from the pack is his toughness to stand in the pocket, deliver the ball accurately and on time, and take a huge shot. This guy is a really, really good quarterback, Fitz.
He is, man. He is. And again, like running backs, the quarterbacks in this conference are stupid good.
Yep.
I mean, you're throwing Avery Johnson in at 12 based on, the lack of a resume overall. And, it's Jalen Daniels is on there. You got 3 quarterbacks from the former Pac schools. It's crazy. And Noah Fafita is going to be a problem for this conference from beginning to end. But that game in Manhattan in week 3 is going to be his opportunity to really solidly step onto the national stage, with that being the Fox Friday game.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, it's going to be a showcase, obviously, of the teams and the conference, but it's going to be a showcase of these 2 young quarterbacks, and to see, not necessarily who's better because they're not playing against each other in a sense, but just to be on that national stage and say, welcome to college football. Fafita was in college football, played a lot last year, played outstanding, but it was Pac-12. A lot of people didn't get to see all those games. Well, you're going to get to see these games now. Big 12, earlier time zone, more people paying attention. And I like that for Arizona. I like that for all the new Pac-12 schools, is that they're going to get some games and be seen by people that maybe otherwise, Fitz, they wouldn't have been seen. And I like that for Fafita. And maybe, just maybe, if he has another stellar season, he can get on the national stage and get the national pub that he deserves.
100%. This is a huge opportunity, and it's going to be, again, just he's young. and
Yep.
he's got more growth to make. It's just amazing how good he is at such a young age.
Absolutely. Last one on the list before we take our final break is Shedeur Sanders, quarterback at Colorado. Look, there's a lot of things that you can say about this guy. The one thing you can't say about him is he's not tough.
Yep.
Because we saw him play last year. Now, some say that he holds the ball too long, and that's why he took a lot of sacks. But I'll just say this, and I have no qualms about saying this. If you know anything about football, not just college football, just if you know anything about football, you know that his offensive line was terrible and that he didn't have time to throw the ball. He didn't have time to go through progressions and go from 1, 2, 3. He didn't have time to do all that stuff. Maybe some of that's his fault. He needs to do it quicker. Okay, that's fine. A lot of quarterbacks need that. But the guy was tough. He literally got a broken back last year, Fitz. Broke his back playing football because he took a pounding. But 27 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. He threw the ball down the field. A lot of people are saying that he's going to be, or possibly could be, the number 1 pick in the draft. I'm not so sure about that. Having said that, the guy's a football player, knows how to play the quarterback position very, very well.
You know you're carrying the team when you break your back. But let's say this about the offensive line. I'm going to need some help in the comments. What is the worst description, or the most negative description? Were the offensive line terrible, as Big B said, or were they trash? Whatever's the worst one, they were that. How
Right.
he operated and got the numbers he did with what he was dealing with is a testament. And if they improve that offensive line play, if they get more consistent and more cut out as an offense, it's gonna be something else, because Shedeur can play. He really is.
Absolutely.
This is not a situation where he's just living off of daddy's name.
No.
He's the real deal.
No, he can distribute that football, and they've got people to distribute the football too. The one thing about Shedeur, and I know a lot of people might think that, oh, well, you guys are bashing on Colorado's offensive line. Well, yeah, we are, because they were bad. We tell the truth here on Big 12 Insiders. But if you remember back to last year, Dion also trashed on his offensive line and said, yeah, we got to get all new. We're going to go in the portal and replace these guys. So, don't blame us. We're just the messengers here, people. But looking at this list from 12 down to 3, I think it's pretty solid, people. I think it's solid, Fits. I like it. Obviously, I like it. I put it together. But, I think, when you start talking about playmakers, you're going to be hard pressed. And again, this is just the offensive playmakers. I know you could have cornerbacks and offensive linemen. We're just talking about true offensive playmakers. You'll be hard pressed to find a better list of 12 in any other conference in the country. I'm just going to say that.
And again, look at the consolidation of talent. We've already got 2 from Kansas, 2 from Kansas State, 2 from Arizona. I'm guessing there'll be 2 from Colorado. It's impressive, and particularly as we unveil the rest of this list, how many in the top tier of this conference are from the new schools. It means these are pretty good additions.
Absolutely. 100%. And it's not a knock on anybody else. It's just showing how good this conference is. It's going to be incredible. Cannot wait for the season to start. Going to take our final break here before we reveal the final 2. Again, a word from our sponsor, Synergy Financial Partners, and we will be right back.
We'll be right back.
We're back.
We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
At Synergy Financial Partners, the vision is to build the world's largest consumer financial education and empowerment company. Synergy doesn't just offer you a financial plan. At Synergy, the goal is to help you find your best financial future. Learn more at synergyfinancial.com.
Welcome back to the show. Let's return to Studio 73.
All right. Welcome back to Big 12 Insiders. Fitz, again, everybody, we're counting down the Big 12's top 12, or the top 12 Big 12 playmakers. That was a tongue twister there. And we are down to the final 2. We had the top 12 or the top 10. Loved the list so far. Got the final 2. Maybe a little controversial to some, but a little controversy is okay every now and then. At number 2, I got Ollie Gordon, running back at Oklahoma State, Doak Walker Award winner. In my opinion, the best running back in the country. I know some people are going to say someone else. That's fine. I think he's good. Didn't get a chance to meet him at Big 12 Media Days, but did see him there. I'm not even going to talk about what transpired because that's not what this is all about.
Nope.
What I am going to talk about is how good of a football player that he is, and how good he was all season long. Yes, he had a hiccup at UCF, but I think that was an egg the entire team of Oklahoma State laid that day. Just got their heads beaten in. They weren't in it from the opening kickoff.
Nope.
That game was over. But everywhere else, he showed up and was a great football player. This guy, 1,700 yards last year, turned it on against Kansas State and never turned it off the rest of the season.
Nope.
In my opinion, the best running back in the country.
Every time I look at highlights of this guy, I'm like, oh, it's just he's so tall and a strider, and yet he's hard to take down. He gets through holes. He's a dude, man. He's just a dude. I think he's going to be an NFL guy for many, many years because of his mixture of size and speed and just being able to either be that running back that can get into the open field or run over a linebacker.
Yes, absolutely. And not enough people, necessarily talk about his elusiveness, Now, I know Oklahoma State had a good offensive line. They're going to have another good one this year. I said, but his elusiveness and then his speed, I think, is what kind of separates him from everybody else. He doesn't do a lot of stuff out of the backfield, but they don't need him to do a lot of stuff out of the backfield. And some people think that's a knock, but just because they don't need you doesn't mean that I can't do it. And I think that might be another element that Oklahoma State adds this season to make that offense even more explosive, is to add more of him coming out of the backfield. He's really good. He's just really good. People try to say that, his numbers are inflated because of the conference. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. One of the teams that he played against last year was in the college football playoff and played well in it. So I just like Ollie Gordon. I think he's one of the best in the country.
Agreed.
And then the final, number 1, my top playmaker in the Big 12 is Travis Hunter. Wide receiver / cornerback, Colorado. I think actually Fitz, if he just concentrates on wide receiver, I think that's his best position. Now, I know he plays at Colorado. I know that Coach Prime is his coach. I get all of that. And he was the number 1 cornerback coming out of high school. But I think if he just decided to – and at the pros, he's going to have to make a decision. You're not playing both ways like that in the pros. That's not going to happen. Having said that, he's an incredible athlete.
Yep.
And I think that gets taken for granted sometimes. But I also think that Colorado needs him to play both ways for them to be as good as they can possibly be. Because he's better than whoever the next guy up is going to be. He's just better than that. So you got to get him out there. I think they do need to find a way to limit his snaps, at first and in goal. I don't think you have to have him out on the field. You got to find a way to try to limit some of his snaps, things of that nature, 4th and 1 thing. But other than that, the guy's absolutely incredible. Wide receiver and cornerback. I just believe Travis Hunter is the top playmaker in this conference.
I know we indicated that this list wasn't about defensive players, but in his case, we see him as a receiver who, is an incredible corner.
Yep.
And you're right. If I was Colorado, first of all, I'd be high if I was literally Colorado. But I would be cutting back on those defensive snaps. I'd make him the nickel or dime guy that comes in true passing situations, because corners tend to get hurt on running plays when they have to come up and make a hit.
Yep.
And maybe he's so much better than his backup, you can't afford to take that step back, but you also can't afford to have him get hurt on the defensive side of the ball, trying to tackle Ollie Gordon or someone and lose him and erase what he can do for you on offense. You've lost 2 players essentially.
Right.
Dude's a freak. Dude's an absolute freak. He's just amazing to watch. I can't even fathom, like Dion being so good, you can play at this level and excel at two different positions on both sides of the ball.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely nuts.
Yep. And you don't see it very often. And you may not see it that way again. Here is the final list here, 12 through 1. Like we mentioned before, very solid list. Arguments can be made for some guys moving up, some guys moving down. The good thing about that is we got a comment section for you guys to leave all of that in. I look forward to hearing from all of you guys in the comments section. Who do you think should move up, shouldn't be on the list, somebody that got snubbed from the list? Let us know all of that, people. That's really, really fun for me to go back and forth with you guys. I love talking to you guys about that. So appreciate everybody showing up. Again, thank you for all the support. Big 12 Insiders, we're still going strong. We're going to have 4 shows this week. Usually during the summer, we cut it down to 3. But we had some information we had to get out to you on Monday. So we appreciate that. Again, remember to like, follow, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when all Big 12 content comes out. We appreciate you guys. We will see you next time.
This has been a GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street production. Please support this show by subscribing to this YouTube channel or follow us on your favorite podcast platform.